It's true, the rumours are true. It's not clickbait. We are selling Cadoha. I almost can't believe I'm saying that. We are selling Cadoha. Now, for those of you who might just be interested in the boat and are not interested to hear the reasons why, then you can jump to this point in the timeline and that'll skip ahead to where I can show you the boat and what we've done and what we're still yet to do and so on and so forth. I'm also going to put a web page up here which will obviously list Cadoha, a bunch of pictures, how good she can look when she's all put together, and obviously as she is now, she's sort of like 85% done, but you can sort of see some of the bits that still need doing. I'm going to pop onto that web page a whole bunch of videos which will sort of show all the different things that we've done to upgrade Cadoha over the few years that we've had her, and yeah, there'll be a means to contact us there as well. But for the rest of you that are probably sat there scratching your heads going, but you've been working on a a whole bunch of things completely out of our control basically unfolded in such a way that the time has come to sell Cadoha and then move on to the next chapter. It's not the end of the Cadoha story by any stretch of the imagination, just the end of the story on this particular vessel. Come with me. Oh. Right, I'm sure a bunch of you are scratching your heads thinking, what? You've been doing so much work to go. What do you mean you're selling Cadoha? Yeah, it feels mad to be saying it actually, but the main two reasons are, you might not have seen me around for the last few weeks or a video, and that's because I've been having some health issues, but I'm not the only one. Hudson too has some long-term medical care that's going to be certainly for the next couple of years an ongoing constant, and I haven't really talked about him too much or made a big song and dance about it on the channel a great deal for lots of reasons really, but I don't want to go too deeply into it, but to give you an idea of partly why we're making this decision. A lot of you know our son came early, very early, and I think by and large he's doing all right. There were a couple of health issues that he had as a result of coming early, I'm guessing, but the first one, it sounded really innocuous, like not a big deal, and it was some flaring on his brain, and what that actually meant was he had bleeding on his brain, so we've been having to go back and forth to the hospital quite a lot and sort of keep an eye on those developments. But he also had a very rare heart condition, and so again we are regularly in and out of the hospital with Hudson, as well as not long ago we had to rush him in to accident emergency really quickly, and then on top of that, as I say, I've developed some health issues myself, and more for Hudson than me really. The idea of us in the immediate future being any more than a half-hour drive from a hospital is just not an option right now. And even if you're not going on particularly massive, bold adventures on this, just being in the middle of Lyme Bay means you're 8 hours away from a hospital should something go wrong. And then, whilst putting Humpty Dumpty and the boat back together again, Carly and I were sort of having back and forths about sort of the layout of the boat and having a child on the boat and how we wanted a bigger bed, and then we were thinking about pulling the forward cabin apart and rearranging that and building a bigger bed because the bed's always been just annoyingly a bit small. And then we got to a point where we were like, for the next couple of years, the thought of living on the boat in the colder months in the UK with a tiny little baby who's already got, some health complications, it just doesn't sit well. And Carly has developed lung issues and pneumonia and all sorts on the boat in the past. And even though we do our best to heat it, sometimes some damp builds up, some mold builds up, and it just doesn't seem like the optimal environment right now for someone who's so tiny and fragile, and as I say, has some conditions. But the reality is, now that Carly's at home looking after Hudson, she's not working, the onus is very much on me to take care of them all, and that's a responsibility that I'm over the moon to take on. I'm not complaining, but it's a lot. which means I'm going to have to get a proper job. And despite what some of you may think, YouTube is brilliant. It's fun to make these videos, and there's a little bit of pocket money that most of us will earn from YouTube that, you know, put some diesel in the tank, some beers in the fridge and a couple of treats in the basket for Hank. But the reality is it's like the 0.1% of people that make videos, if it's even that high, I don't know, make enough to live off of. So, you know, it's a lovely little side income, and it's fun to make them. And if nothing else, the most value from these videos come from the fact that you're capturing these really special moments in your life. And I've also learned a huge amount from the people that watch these videos that mostly just tell me about the stuff that I'm doing wrong. And so it's been an immense learning curve, and I've had a lot of help from you guys giving me your feedback. So thank you for that. I know I probably don't say it enough. So yeah, the reality is that living in a house for the next couple of years, whilst we hopefully get Hudson through this phase of, you know, his life, and hopefully he gets on the other side of it and he'll be all fighting fit and strong and everything will be okay. And then hopefully we'll transition to a vessel that is more fit for our family life, a bigger bed, but also the layout. Although you've got aft cabins in here, they're like tiny little coffins, and I'm not sure, you know, as a bedroom for Hudson, I don't know, we haven't thought it through. But the main reason, on top of all of that, is the fact that, as I say, running a house, running a boat, doing it all single-handedly in terms of income, we just can't afford to do both. That's the honest truth. You know, having a 38-foot yacht as a toy on the side whilst you're living at home, like that's a rich man's game, which sadly I'm not one of. But I'm not moaning, not complaining. Life has dealt me so many good hands. I've got nothing to grumble about. You know, but as you know, the hand you're dealt in life unfolds. You know, we're in a spot now where we have to make a decision, and we have to make a bit of a strategic retreat from this particular boat and this chapter. But we have some amazing adventures which we're looking forward to, which are going to involve some vans and maybe some teepee camping and up in the mountains. So many great spots all around the UK, which some we've already been to, but we haven't filmed, and some we've never been to, we're looking forward to going to. And so over the next couple of years, again, if we have any issues with Hudson at that point and we happen to be away from home, well, we won't be far away from a hospital. We'll be able to get into a vehicle and get somewhere quite quickly. So hopefully that will thread the needle of the Cadoha adventure story continuing to unfold. And then, as I say, once we get to the other side of where Hudson needs to be, hopefully we can find a vessel that fits the next chapter. So yeah, that's the upshot. I'm sure there's some stuff I haven't mentioned that, you know, again, if you're still left wondering, then jump in the comments, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer. But for any of you that are actually interested in the boat, let me give you a tour of what we've done so far, and yeah, take it from there.
For those of you who know, you know, but for anyone that's new here, this has been the predominant job this winter, is recaulking most of the deck, sanding it all down. We still have about 8mm thickness of teak, rebedded all the hatches, and all of the treadmaster has been repainted. An awful lot has been rebedded. One of our absolute favourite upgrades on the boat is this Selden winch, the E40i. Got a few different speeds there. Crush two of them together and you get beautiful smoking. And we mostly just use this for our main sheet, but also getting the dinghy on and off the boat, because, well, it's a heavy dinghy, and we just use the main halyard, reroute that through, and we can lift the dinghy in and out of the water pretty easily. Cadoha has 1750 watts of solar, and that is a mixture of fixed paneling and some deployable solar. And the teak in the cockpit has all been sanded and cleaned and made to look as beautiful as you can again. This is another job we did this is another job I did this winter too, and that was replacing the bearings in the helm, so there's no play in that anymore. This is actually my most recent job. That hatch has all been painted, new fascia put on, revarnished, and if you see how it was before, that's a huge improvement. The flooring, I have actually just taken up all the teak and holly flooring because I was about to replace all of that, and there's a little section of wood here of marine ply which there's a bit of flex in it, so I've actually cut that out, and that's that's due to be replaced. Here is a completely independent nav station. So there's a door to close that off. We decorated the nav station there with just, let's say, a little map. It's not to scale. I'd keep hold of your charts before relying on this, but I thought it looked quite cool. It's one of the bursts that I haven't actually put back together yet. We were just doing some work on some of the solar wiring. You also have your starboard side access to the engine here, and that engine is much loved. Much loved. There's no rust anywhere on the engine at all. It gets serviced every year. And also, another job that I did with a little bit of help from an engineer actually this year was we replaced the sail drive diaphragm. That's brand new, and we had to build up the mount that it was sat on, so we had a flush finish. But yeah, again, there is the front access to the engine, and she is much loved. Here you have your port side access to the engine also, so you really can get to it all nice and easily. But this here is probably one of my favourite upgrades, because it's a diesel dipper made by a company called Marine 15, and that runs all the time we're out on the boat, and it constantly hoovers up any gunk from the bottom of the fuel tanks, any contamination, and then you just drain that periodically off here. And yeah, we actually had a diesel bug situation, and the very first season we went out, it caught us off guard and we got into a pickle. And then the owner of Marine 16 watched one of our videos and saw that we were in a bit of a bind, and he came and very kindly gave us this. And it's not a cheap piece of kit actually, so it was very kind and very generous of him. And we have never ever once since installing this, touch wood, ever had any contamination stop the engine. Not to say that we haven't had contamination in the tanks, but it's always been caught by this and pulled out, and we've had multiple years and never ever a problem since. So really like this. If you've never heard of it, the Diesel Dipper by Marine 16, there you go, my last plug for you guys. And we also have here the second head, and that's on the port side after the boat, and then a little locker there. Alright, the galley. We haven't actually done a huge amount with the galley, other than normally there's an air fryer here that has just been taken out to be deep cleaned, and we actually installed this huge table which drops all the way down and turns into an absolutely massive super king size double bed size lounging area, which has come in super handy on passages when, you know, being in the middle of the boat from a motion perspective is exactly where you want to be. So it's been super comfortable and been really helpful with Hank as well. And all the cushions out, so let me just show you some of the bits that are under here. We have a diesel dipper. Here there's normally a box in there that's strapped down, and then we've got a whole load of MPPT charge controllers from all the solar, and that there is the control box for the electric winch. Here we have, so here we have 600 amp hours at 12 volt of lithium batteries, which is absolutely mega for us. And yeah, all summer long we live off of those. We do the cooking off our batteries, we have hot water immersion heating off of the batteries, boil the kettle, like we live at anchor, and it's just like being on shore power. It's amazing. So that was a real game changer. Not cheap, but yeah, massive improvement to life on the boat. And then in this last little cupboard we have the Multi-Plus Victron inverter, and that really is like the power plant of the boat. So we have as well as the diesel heater, which has all just been stripped apart and cleaned out this winter. By far our absolute favourite means of heating the boat is this wood burner. Absolutely amazing towards the end of the season when you're getting into those sort of end of summer, early autumn months. You just have this crackling away after you've been out and about, and it just, oh, it's brilliant. We've lived on the boat throughout the winter, and it's been -6 outside, and we've been so warm in here. It's insane. But yeah, you have a means of cooking. On the top, you've got a little grill, and then you've got 2 water heaters there. Again, you just fill those up with water. And again, in the later summer months when you're not getting quite as much solar, you can, as I say, heat your water, cook your food on this, and then save the power in your batteries. So it's really, really good. Adds an element of redundancy to the boat too. Right. Forward cabin. On the starboard side, we have, you could just about call it a double bed. 2 of us have slept in it. I mean, we've had 2 of us sleeping on this bed for multiple years. Also, get this, we have a brand spanking new, still in the wrapper, brand spanking new, super thick. Look at that, relative to my hands. That's, I don't know, it's about 8 or 9 inches thick. Brand new mattress from a company called ShipShape. So it's a really high quality bespoke mattress. Let's say we've just had it made, and as I say, we weren't intending to sell the boat. This is all just come about for reasons out of our control, really. But yeah, beautiful mattress. That's about a £1,200 mattress, and it hasn't even been used yet. We have our ensuite, the forward head, and a new shower which we fitted, and Carly's choice in wallpaper, and it's been absolutely brilliant. We also installed a new tap and basin, and put this work surface in too. And if you want to go forwards here, we also have a whole bunch of stuff which I've just piled in there to try and make this place a little bit tidy whilst I give you a tour. But there's a huge amount of storage there. We tend to put the lighter spares and bits and pieces we need in there. Again, anything, all of the heavier equipment and spares we need to bring, we put more in the middle of the boat. But then up here, there you go. So you can see here, we've got some built-in cupboards and shelving, and again, just there, it's quite a lot. The workshop, and then forward of the workshop is the anchor chain. That concludes a very quick tour of Cadoha. I'm going to put a lot more information together along with everything we've added to the boat, everything we've done, anything that I think will be useful for anyone interested to know on this website here. I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and find that and click on that, and I'll try and incorporate any videos with a little title to sort of show you why I think that video might be useful, something we've added, whether it's the winch or solar or what have you. But if anyone does have any questions, and there's anyone who's seriously interested in looking to buy a boat, then there'll be an email on there which you can use to contact us. And again, any questions you have that I haven't covered in this short video, then again, fire them away there. I'll do my best to answer them as accurately as I can. And yeah, this isn't the end of the Cadoha story, not by any stretch of the imagination. We've got some awesome adventures that we're already planning out. It's the end of the story for this particular chapter on this boat, which is pretty gut-wrenching, but it is what it is. And you know, she's like 85-90% done, and I'm sure we get more money for her if the mast was up and everything was back together and everything was finished. But you know, it's just the way things have unfolded. So yeah, ping me a message if you're interested. But for the rest of you, as I say, watch this space. It's certainly not the end of the Cadoha adventures, and we've got a whole bunch coming up which I'm really looking forward to. So thank you everyone who has supported us, followed us, cheered us on, helped us out, you know, dropped your knowledge bombs in the comments over the years. I have learned way more from you guys than I'm sure anyone has ever learned from me. So in any way, shape or form, I just want to say, everyone that's been rooting for us, thank you. It's been really cool. It's been really cool. But as I say, not the end, just the end of this chapter. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.